Hey guys, I am back. It's Whitley Terriel here from Skype, a network for women who want to grow personally, professionally, and profitably. And today we are here live with Pip Seymour on why you should know SEO. So I know that there's a lot of us out there who don't really know what SEO is and how it serves us. So if you run a business, or if you have a blog, or you have some sort of following out there, this talk will be really, really helpful in terms of understanding what SEO is, how it can help you be found on Google, and how it works with Google, as well as what on-page SEO is. So I know it may sound like a lot to you guys for people who may not understand what it is exactly, but I promise it'll be a very basic talk and just give you a really good understanding of what it is and how it works. So if you know anybody who you think could benefit from this talk, please feel free to go out and share with your friends. You can comment, tag them in the comments as well. And I'm just actually going to go into the Facebook page here on Skype and share this out with our Skype network community. So just give me a second, guys. Right. So if you're jumping on right now, guys, say hello. Let us know where you're from, what kind of business you run, if you are running a business, or if you run a blog. Right. Let's see here. So just curious, feel free, comment yes or no if you know what SEO is and what it stands for. I'm just curious to know how many out there who's watching this know exactly what this is all about. All right, okay, we'll share it right into the group. And on a scale of 1 to 10, just drop it in the comments. How many, or how much do you know about SEO? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you know about what SEO is? I can hear your little giggle.
I love your comment.
What's that?
There was a great comment made just a second ago that I saw that really made me laugh.
Oh, okay. So we got some people commenting. Let's see what it says. Hey, Sherry. So Sherry's tagging some friends in. And Erin Eagles, hey girl. She's hey, advisor with Sun Life and not familiar with SEO. So hopefully after this talk, Erin, you will understand more about what SEO is and how it's going to help you and potentially your business. And Sherry says, SEO stands for sad engagement online. LOL. Kidding. Search engine optimization. Awesome. Okay, so anyways, we are going to get started here in just a second. Again, guys, if you know anyone who you think may benefit from this talk, feel free to go out, share it with your friends, tag them in the comments. They can always catch the replay later on when they get a chance. But also keep in mind, guys, if you're online, if you join live, you have an opportunity to actually ask Pip, our SEO specialist here, about any questions that you guys have regarding SEO. So without further ado, guys, let's bring on Pip. Hey, Pip, how are you?
Yay. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Pip. I help small business owners or entrepreneurs with their search and social. So from organic to paid. So we kind of do the gamut. I started out working in magazines and newspapers and then moved over to online. And with my degree in psychology, SEO is a perfect combo because it uses some technical skill and it uses some artistic nature, which I seem to have some of. So yes, oh, hello. Thank you for loving my name. I love this. This is great, this Be Live.
Awesome. So Pip, I'm going to just dive right into this, and we're going to ask you this question that I know that a lot of us out there are dying to know. What is SEO?
well, SEO is awesome. No. SEO, okay, so the way to talk about SEO, you first have to think in a couple ways. So the first thing I would say is picture yourself searching for a business online, or picture yourself in a marketplace where you're looking for a cat. You want to buy a cat, and there's hundreds of people around you, and you have your hand raised and you're yelling, a cat, a cat, a cat, right? And then somebody else down the road yells, I have a cat, I have a cat. And it's kind of like pairing the two, right? So that's kind of what SEO is. SEO is Google being your interface, and somebody typing in, I want a cat, and then somebody who has a website about a cat is showing up. So SEO is about how you search and how you get the most relevant information to your fingertips. So, Google does a really good job of making sure that we get all the most relevant information. So, because if I search for something, for instance, when the internet first came out, and you used to search panda bear, porn would come up, literally, back in the beginning of time. And Google made all these rules and restrictions. So now when you search panda bear, you learn about panda bears, right? So now, does that make sense? Because I get really excited about SEO, and there's a lot of different facets. So SEO is about how you search and what shows up.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Is it making sense for you guys? Say yes in the comments. So basically, SEO acts as like that middleman to help you find what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
One other question for you, and I don't know if you're probably going to cover this, so if you are, just let me know. When you're searching something, does Google already know like what you're searching? Like, does Google know you as a person, what you're searching, what your interests are, all that stuff, so that when you are searching, it almost like just knows you, it tailors everything to you? Is that true?
Yep, very true. So, and that's the combination of knowing what you're doing on your website and creating content, knowing who you are personally, right? So personally, if I don't clear my browsing history, it gets saved. If I go to certain sites, you'll see this when ads follow you around and retargeting. Google's job literally is to bring you the most relevant information to you as an individual. Now, millions of searches are done a day in millions of areas, right? Okay. We can answer that question in a minute. But so millions of searches are done every day, every moment of every day on Google, on YouTube. And literally the search engine's job, in order for you to keep coming back and using them, is to bring you the most relevant, tangible information. Like if I'm looking for ice skates, I don't want ice skates in Philadelphia. I want ice skates in Victoria, right? So Google's job is to make sure it understands my searching. And through time and machine learning, it really does get a good grasp of that, right? And so they utilize all the behavioral things, everything you click on. I mean, Facebook does the same thing. It's a different kind of algorithm. So yes, SEO is based on an algorithm that's related to what's on a person's website, what you're searching, if other people find it valuable, those would be the reviews, things like that, right? So because if they didn't give you the best information, you would go over to Bing, right?
Right.
And so, or Go Fish, or whatever browser works, not browser, but search engine works better for you, right?
So how do we how does Google work so that we can better understand Google and how we can actually make Google work for us?
Okay. So there's a lot of ways. So I'll tell you one way to search when you want exact information is to put quotes around your search, right? Yeah. So, and if you put a plus in front of a word, there's lots of little things you can do to increase the validity of your searches. That being said,
make a note of those. That's a good one. I never knew the quotation.
Right? And the square bracket. So there's the quotation means exact, it means phrase match. The blocks that you can put around them mean exact match, when you're searching, just searching, and you type something into Google, it's called broad match. So it's going to bring up Wikipedia. So if I type in red shoes, it's going to bring up sales stuff. And then it's going to bring up the maps. And then it's going to bring up the organic stuff, right? So you got ads, maps, and organic. And the organic is where the SEO is. You know, and the maps. So it's just different algorithms. It can get quite deep. The SEO can get quite deep. But the things to really realize are, if you have your own business, or are thinking of having your own business, or have a blog or a channel, what you want to do is you want to think of it two sides to a coin, right? When I write a blog post, you know, it's definitely going to be about what I think, but maybe ask yourself things like, what is the person going to be searching? You know, how am I going to show up? What do I want people to know? What questions will people be asking that I'm answering? Because literally Google is your question machine. We all know this, right? So you're the answer machine. Your website, your blog, your everything is your answer machine. So you're just pairing it, right? Question answer.
Do you have any tips on how you can find out what your customers are searching? Because I know that could be a big one, right? We need to know what they're searching in order to basically like cater to their answers. So do you have any tips on that, Pip?
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, number one, and if this isn't too daunting, if you already have a business or a website, I'd highly suggest typing into Google Search Console and signing up for Search Console. Now, it is akin to Google Analytics. It is free, and it is so useful. You can find out what it does is it will tell you what people are doing and where your site is showing up. So all the search words that people are typing in and what page you show up on. So if I show up on page 10 for SEO, well, that's not great. You know? So if I wrote more articles on SEO, say it showed up page 10 for SEO Victoria. And then if I wrote an article on SEO Victoria, you would see it bump up, right? Because although people think of websites as the key, like websites in their totality with regard to SEO, it's actually every page on your website, right? So every page on your website should have one keyword focus, right? Like what you're talking about. Like for instance, when we have a conversation, Whitley, we can jump all over the place, but we have a theme of our conversation, right?
Right.
So every blog post, every page on your website should have that theme. Right. And with that'll help Google understand what you're trying to say. Right. So that when people are searching for you, you'll show up because people are looking for your information. Does that make sense? Anybody?
That makes sense to me. For the rest of you guys who are watching, just on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is this making sense for you guys? I have one other question actually to build on what you were just saying, Pip. In terms of like the searching, wow, I just forgot my question. It was a good one too. It'll come back to me. Okay, so this is good. Leanne says 9. Yeah. Mary Brown, she says 9. Good stuff. All right, so everybody's following along because I know, like you said, SEO can go really, really deep. So that's why we're just covering the basics today. Hopefully, we can get another chat on this so we can go a little deeper into it.
Right. I really thank you because sometimes as you learn more and more in this industry, you kind of get deeper into it and you lose some of the ability to speak to this on a level where, you know, a broader group of people can understand. And it's so important for businesses when they're setting themselves up to understand how we search, you know, or how we use Facebook, because it's going to really determine how we do things and generate that buzz. And you know what? It kind of stinks when you write a wicked blog post and then you hear chirping, right? It's like, you're like, man, I worked so hard. And you know what? It's just that people haven't found you yet. And so there's little things you can do to help yourself.
My question actually came back to me. So when you were talking about conversations, there's a common theme among our conversations. So with Google, when you're searching something, there's always a common theme within your website. So here's another thing, because going back to the previous Skype talks, and knowing your customer and understanding, their language and all that stuff. If you're a business who hasn't really nailed down your ideal customer and knows exactly what they want, what their pain points are, all of that emotional stuff to tie into the buy-in factors, if you don't know your ideal customer inside and out, isn't that going to make things very difficult for you in terms of the SEO portion?
It can. So yes and no. So I will say that many people leave out customer knowledge. They think, when I ask people, because I do marketing and goal setting, and one of the fundamental things that people leave out that they shouldn't leave out is knowing your personas, creating those. I had a new client last week, and I asked her, who is your target audience? And she's a real estate agent. And she was like, oh, anybody 40 plus. I'm like, no. Like, you got to dig in. And so it will help. If you do dig in to knowing who your client is, then you can speak to them more. SEO is a lot about some technical stuff, but it's also now more and more about your reader. Who are they? Are you speaking in their language? So yes, you can totally do a website without knowing who your client is. Will it be as effective? No.
Probably not.
You're not using the right language. You're not, I will tell you, for our website, which is on hold right now, we have a bunch of giveaways. Our clients are a lot of people who don't want to do it themselves. They want somebody to do it for them. But I also run a Facebook group where it's entrepreneurs and they're learning, and so they're going to find value. So we have 4 personas we've made, right? Of who our client is, how much money they make, what they're doing. Do they have kids? Like, where do they live? Have we met them? Like, what's their favorite store? So all those things contribute, and that would tie in more to social media optimization. Because then you know who you're speaking to, right? You know what you're posting, right? So social media optimization and search engine optimization are different, but similar.
Awesome. Okay. So last question that we have for you, Pip, is what is on-page SEO? I'm dying to know this because I have no idea what that is. So could you share with us what on-page SEO is? So
on-page SEO, if you have a blog, and you use, number one, I'm a big fan of WordPress, let me just say. So I'll speak more to WordPress. But if you have Square or something else, you can use this. But what you do is there'll be places on your site on your blog post to pick your keyword focus, right? So pick your theme of that page focus, to tie everything together, to create a description of what your page is about, right? And the reason you do on-page SEO is about streamlining your content so the side of the coin, which is your website and stuff like that and all the info, right? And the other side of the coin is when people search, what shows up. So on-page SEO just makes you show up better in the search engine. So it's things like, is your website fast? Is your content, does Google understand what you're saying? Like, what is your blog post about? What is your web page about, right? So you can pick a keyword, and then, you have it in one of your headings, and you have it inside your text because, right away people should know what you're talking about. So things like the plugin Yoast kind of takes you through that, and they do a red light, green light process. It's so lovely. If you remember playing red light, green light as a kid, right? You loved it, right? You did. We all loved it, And so Yoast plugin gives you green lights, like, oh my God, I picked a keyword. Oh, it's in a title, and it's in the first paragraph, and it's throughout, right? And
awesome.
Yeah, and on-page SEO, one other thing to make sure you do is if you write a blog post, link it to another blog post that you have. Just do yourself a favor, because Google's all about the networks and the spiders and how everything connects.
Right.
So you link out, and you link to other blog posts, and you also link to other relevant information on the web. And that increases your value. And that's all that on-page SEO is doing. It is increasing your searchability. It is increasing your value to your readers. So this is where why I get really into marketing and goal setting, because if you streamline who your clients are, what they're searching for, what you love, you can really get dialed in and do yourself a favor and just make it easier for you to show up. So,
okay. So question for you, for example, so with the Skyple website, if I'll just give an example of a Skyple talk video. So if I have a Skyple talk video on my website, and I'm directing that video to the YouTube channel as well as to the Facebook page, does that make it a lot more searchable? Is that an example of webbing, I guess?
Yeah. So basically, you will see when you get Search Console set up on your website, super easy peasy, I swear, people, what you'll see is there's a section where you can click, and it'll show links, backlinks. So that's off-page SEO, which is our next talk. But but links. So if I have a YouTube channel and I have and I link to my website, that gives me an external link. So I'm saying it's valuable. This, if you do a video and then say, oh, read the blog post, additional blog post over here, say, oh, a little more valuable, right?
Okay.
So that's why, you know, if you do a video and you put it on YouTube, link it to your website, maybe put it on Vimeo and link it to your website.
Gotcha. So is it better if you have more social media platforms and outlets to link your content to?
Yes and no. You have to make sure you're there and present. I mean, I have a Twitter account I don't use really anymore. And so is it valuable? Maybe, but not really. Like you have to be pretty present. But, you know, I use YouTube, I use Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Those are my three. I basically tell people to pick three. And then, of course, Google My Business. But that's a whole other story, because that's for SEO.
Awesome. Okay, so I think that basically wraps everything up. I hope this is making sense to you guys. I do have one other question that I wanted to ask you before we dive into some Q&As. Meta tags. So if you have a website, like my website's kind of, it goes through Wix. So what Wix does is gives me the option to give my page a description, give it its name, and then it gives me an option to put in some meta tags. So is there any tips that you can give us on how we can utilize that for our SEO?
Okay. So I want you to think of a meta tag, and I want you, and think of when you do a search on Google. So everybody, after this talk, maybe go do a quick search on Google, right? See what shows up. There's a title, your URL, and then it's called a snippet. The snippet is actually your meta tag usually. So Google gets to choose, but that's the two sides of a coin. The meta tag on your website is what people see when they search. So things like, yes, always fill them out, because if in doubt, fill it out, right? Because you don't know what Google's going to choose to show. They have the option to choose to show anything. But if you fill out your meta and that shows up in a search engine, you can, you know, ask a question in there. Like people read those to know what they're getting. Like it's like reading the menu, you know, in a restaurant. You know what you're getting when you read the description of what's on the burger. Right. That's what it is. So yes, I highly recommend that. Put your keyword in there always, because it highlights in a darker color.
Can we have multiple keywords for one page, or should we keep it to one?
Yeah, but I would, you know what? So you do have keywords that are going to, yes, but generally with your speech and what you type, I would say pick one, and then when you write, it'll be littered with other ones that you don't even realize. It's natural language, right? As things change and the future grows, like if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see there was an amazing ad done about getting a dog. And it's the future of how things are going. But so that being said, machine learning is what's happening, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, so, and speaking like you're speaking to another person. So to force keywords into something, not so great. It'll naturally progress, right? This is a really natural thing that happens over time that you'll get used to. And it's fun.
It's fun. I love it. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this up, but Pip's going to give you guys a few minutes of her time to answer any questions that you guys have regarding SEO. So now is the time to throw your questions in the comments, and I'll read them out loud for Pip to answer. So I'm just wondering if we had any questions prior to this and see. Okay, so Leanne, she asked earlier, she said, just not sure how to use it. Do I need to pay Google for this service?
Oh, that's a great question, Leanne. No, you don't have to pay Google. So there's two things you can do. You can do pay-per-click advertising, which will make you show up right here, right now. And that's when you can pay Google. Google is free. So anything I mentioned today, like Search Console, Google Analytics, all free services. And it's there to help you figure out your SEO. So analytics helps you see what's going on your website, like what pages people are landing on, and what's the most relevant thing that's going on your website. So don't pay. And you know what? If people call you up and be like, I can get you on page 1, you hang up that phone. And look online for people to help you and ask questions, because it shouldn't cost you money, but it does cost you time. You can pay money to a company to do it for you, but I would be really particular about that. And come ask me some questions before you go hiring somebody. We got a blog post about what to ask. Does that help?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Leanne, does that help? Okay, so Sherry has a question here. She says, if everyone types in wedding photographer in St. John, how do I make sure that I get viewed towards the top rather than a long list of photographers? Is there a tip for this, or is there something you need to acquire through ratings and time? That's a great question.
That is a great question. Sherry, I would, let me answer this in steps. So I would have Search Console set up on my website because, okay, so yes, you can pay to play to show up first, which would be pay-per-click advertising, which I might recommend in your industry, but you have to be really precise about that because you don't want to spend a lot of money and you need to make sure you're getting a return for an investment. If there are a lot of wedding photographers in your industry and you pick the keyword wedding photographer, the reason I say add Search Console, you'll be able to see more fully what people are searching. Also, there are some keyword planner tools you can use that are free that will help you write blog posts that relate to that. Because what you want to do is use long tail keywords, because smaller number of searches, but where you show up first. That's how I would aim that. So PM me if you want a couple of those really cool keyword planner things. I do have a slide share I just did on keyword planning, and so it's super fun to type in what keyword you want and all the different things you could use, and then use those keywords for blog posts, so you could actually win. You're pretty it's pretty directed search, right? Wedding photographers and St. John's. So we could really work with that. Oh, yay.
Sherry says, thank you. Awesome. So anybody else have any other questions? Now's the chance. We can take one more question. If not, then
I'd love to ask 1 to 10. What do you guys understand? Is there anything, if you had to understand anything, what would you want to know more about? Oh, there you go.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right. Because we love helping people understand this stuff, especially female entrepreneurs. You know what I noticed? There aren't that many doing SEO. And so I'm so excited that I get to be that person.
I love it. Pip also has a Facebook group actually that really caters to SEO online marketing. So I'm actually going to share that group link. So if anyone's interested, feel free to join her group. It's awesome. I'm a member as well. Aaron Eagles. Aaron says, my website is created by the company. Any suggestions on what I can do to increase my name coming up before other advisors?
Okay. So when you say my website, okay, your website is created by the company. Who is the company?
It would be Sun Life Financial.
Oh, okay. So I would there's a couple things you could do, but that is a challenging one, right? So you want people to go to you first. I might make my own web page if you're allowed, or create your own blog. That's what I would do, because that's how, and you can look at that. So that's a hard one because it's not your website, right? So I'd create a blog and make sure you add in Sun Life streamed throughout your post, right? I did see a question about no follow and follow links.
Yes, Carla Begley, she says she follows and not follows. Always gets confused when experts talk about it in regards to links. Yeah,
because it's confusing. It's a funny thing. So generally, okay, so sometimes when you share on social media, it does a no follow link, and all that does is stop the link juice. It stops Google. Little spider goes to one link, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, don't go further. So no follow and follow links are confusing. Nothing to be that concerned about if you're at your beginning stages. I like follow links. So follow links are just supporting, if you read something that's amazing, and it looks good and you support what it says, when you do a link, naturally it'll be a no follow link when you share it on social media a lot of the time. However, just share that link. And when you get more accustomed to it, and when you're ready for some good reading, I can send along some good reading on some follow and no follow links. But really not a big deal if you value what you're reading. I think Google My Business, when you share your links, it's always a follow link. I hope that helps a little. It's a big topic as well, right? But links give juice. So no follow links don't give juice. It's kind of
good to know. I didn't even know that. All right, guys. So I guess we'll wrap this up. But before we disconnect, I have one question for you guys. In terms of another Skype talk with Pip on SEO again, but a little bit deeper, kind of taking the layers off and understanding a little bit more and how we can use it a lot more. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested would you guys be in having another talk, but going a little bit deeper into SEO? Just drop it in the comments.
I'm like a 10.
For me, it's a 10 for sure.
But that's because I love the topic. I think it really helps with your overarching marketing. 20, yay, Sherry! Yay! I also want to mention before you guys go, or we all go, that I am holding a marketing goal setting webinar on the 20th, and I will share the sign up. The reason I'm doing that is because, as we talked today, knowing your personas, knowing what you love to do, getting a plan and how to move it forward are all big parts of your marketing strategy. And so kind of feeds into SEO, because once you're solid and you understand what you're trying to aim for, then you can really drill in. So if anybody's interested, I think it'll be fun. It's my first webinar, so I get excited, too excited sometimes. But I would love to connect with you guys again, because you guys are awesome. Good questions.
They are.
I think you're just like, wow.
Awesome. So I'm going to drop that link in the comments for you guys for that free webinar that Pip's offering, which I would highly recommend getting on. And then also I'm going to drop some of her contact info in the comments as well. So if you guys have any more questions or you guys want to get in contact with her, you guys can reach out to her. All right, well, that concludes our Skype talk for today on SEO. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you thought there was enough value in there to share, please feel free to share with your friends, share to your pages. Sharing is caring. So anyways, my name is Whitley, and again, I'm the founder of Skype, a safe and supportive community for women who want to grow personally, professionally, and profitably. All right, guys, so we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Pip. Bye, guys.